October 26, 2018 was a pretty iconic day for gamers. I'm sure we all remember the heavily anticipated launch for My Hero 1's Justice. When I first got my grubby, greasy gamer hands on Red Dead Redemption 2 for the first time, I could not believe my eyes. I've said it in a video before, but I was uncontrollably shaking. Even before the game came out, people knew it was a big deal. The detail about the horse testicles shrinking in the cold was already known to the public. People knew you had to bathe in this game and keep up a healthy bond with your horse so it'll like you more. I showed up to my local GameStop, or EB Games at the time, about 2 hours before the release, and I was second in line. Not even half an hour later, the line was out to the parking lot. It was nuts. But now it's been 5 years. Red Dead Redemption 2 has collected dust and it's in its second year of kindergarten. And for some reason, it's still one of the best games out there. But why is that? Right now in the video is when I would start with, the story of Red Dead Redemption 2 is a masterpiece because, but that's kind of lame. Instead, because we keep it quirky right here on the Just One End channel, I'm going to talk about something even cooler, and that's Rockstar's excellent way at handling contrast in Red Dead Redemption 2. When you play Red Dead Redemption 2, you have about 40% of the game riding a horse, 40% miscellaneous activities like hunting and fishing, maybe talking on a story mission, and 20% of that is actually action-packed, or even less than 20%. Red Dead 2's combat is really good in my opinion. Because of the physics and the gun sounds, it's very intense feeling and a lot more weighted than 5's combat. But because gunfights are so spread out, every time it happens it feels more impactful and serious, more real in a way. If a company makes a story game and they fill it to the brim with action and high stakes moments at every single turn, it can quickly become unintentionally boring, because if that climactic feeling stays present long enough, it ends up becoming the normal feeling, and then the combat turns into this white noise where eventually you're just mindlessly shooting without really caring about what's happening. A lot of open world games fall into this trap, the Ghost Recon games for example, and outside of the open world genre, I'm not a huge fan of the Call of Duty campaigns because the entire time it's just shooting. I understand the stupidity in that take because Call of Duty is a game about shooting, but I like to play games for their story, and to make a good story, in my opinion, you need a good balance of quiet and loud. Because the design of Call of Duty goes against this, it's just not for me. Grand Theft Auto 5 is a game all about crime, and in the opening mission there's a gunfight right away, but because there's so many missions in between where you're driving or working a tow truck or handling heavy equipment, racing or biking with your son.
A bike ride along Vespucci Beach? Okay, Dad. This day was going so well until you showed up. You know that?
There's a lot of time to regenerate that thirst for action. I've started playing Grand Theft Auto in a way that makes the game even more immersive for me. To make combat more enjoyable and the intense moments more intense, I actually play in first person and stop at red lights and stop signs, so once I get to my destination and I'm forced to drive fast, it feels really cool. I also aim in first person by using iron sights and not the crosshair, so that way it's a little more, I don't know, realistic. This may sound like the most boring thing in the world to some, but I've never enjoyed GTA more than this playthrough. You'll see this criticism of Red Dead Redemption 2 a lot, where people say that the gameplay is picking up a can of beans, inspecting that can of beans, going, "Damn, that's a nice can of beans," and then putting it in your pocket. Then you find another can of beans, rinse and repeat. Okay, so first off, this is a little dramatic, because what they're talking about is how you have to realistically pick up and store each can of beans. However, I like this feature of storing items. It goes back to my original point about intense situations feeling cooler when they come up because the rest of the game is so tame and slow paced. The pacing of Red Dead is perfect for what it is. I think that a GTA game like 6 won't go as gung-ho as Red Dead did about this, but I would like to see GTA emphasize realism this time around. I've replied to some comments before talking about how I'm the guy that the GTA community makes fun of. I'm the type of dude who wants gasoline in GTA 6. I'm also the type of dude who wants cops to pull me over for speeding in GTA 6. I want my wheel to fall off my car and in an arcadey way be able to reattach it before driving off. Ideally, there would be a classic GTA difficulty and a realism mode, but Rockstar hasn't done a difficulty setting since Red Dead Redemption 1 Game of the Year edition, so it's hard to say if they'll put that in the final game. Because of Red Dead Redemption 2's slow pace, you also spend a lot of time around your people and friends you meet outside of the gang. Red Dead has way more characters than GTA 5, but the difference is that spending time with them in Red Dead takes a lot more time and it's also deeper. And because you go through all these personalized experiences with them, if they end up dying in the story later on, it's way more impactful. The story of Red Dead is really tragic and the pacing helps sell that. It wouldn't be nearly as good if the game was as arcadey as GTA 5. The deaths and twists wouldn't be so dreadful dreadful because the time you spent with the characters wouldn't have felt as real. The reality of Red Dead Redemption 2 is so convincing with the amount of wildlife and random stuff that can happen to you just by existing. It's eye-poppingly detailed. This game has so much content to offer, and I'm still discovering new things when I play. I love that every single NPC is a schedule, and every single NPC has their own personality. It's such a fresh approach to the open world genre, which has been misused so many times before. Even if the conversations are pretty basic, like asking the time or telling somebody they have a nice face, it gives a sense of immersion that I've never felt before.
Real goddamn moron.
You like living? You walk away.
Just calm down.
Make that the last time you start with me.
Red Dead 2 was so good that it made me like beans. I hated beans, but I don't know, man. Something just changed my heart about them. I think that this game and all its mechanics, from the NPC interaction to the dismemberment and the shooting, was testing out the limits of what modern video games could pull off, and I think they're going to use Red Dead Redemption 2 as a foundation for GTA 6. I'm going to make a video about this, but seen through the leaks and trailer discoveries, it looks like the game is going to take a realistic approach, which I think is wonderful. That's exactly what I want in a GTA game. People say that GTA 4 was realistic, but the game at this point is outdated in its design, and I'd love to experience a modern GTA with all of the improved technology at Rockstar's disposal. I'm gonna say it. I like Red Dead Online. I know, okay, I'm sorry. And to rub salt in the wound, I don't like Red Dead Online. I love Red Dead Online. I love the seamless mission design. When you walk up to a person and talk to them, there's no loading screen. There's nothing. The mission just starts. It's so easy. I love the community too. I mean, it's so common to see people talking to each other and role-playing, which is so uncommon in GTA 5's online. I love seeing other players selling their pelts and catching their bounty targets. The world of Red Dead Online is certainly different from its story mode, but the players keep it alive in its own way. The daily challenge system also makes the game fun. There's something about hopping on, seeing a checklist, and getting it done. Once the checklist is clear, you've made your cash, and it's really rewarding. Also, GTA Online doesn't have a main story to it. There's random stories outside of your protagonist, but in Red Dead Online, there's a main story that's about your protagonist and finding who put you in jail. However, because Red Dead Online has a small community, Rockstar put the online team to GTA 6, so yeah, the story was never finished, but it's still fun to play for what it is. So 5 years later, the reason why people still love Red Dead Redemption 2, and why I still love Red Dead Redemption 2, is because of its impactful world that goes hand in hand with its story and pacing. So what do you guys think? Did you play Red Dead Redemption 2? Did you like the slow pacing of it, or did you prefer the fast-moving world of GTA 5? Speaking of GTA, what were you guys' thoughts on my terrible GTA takes? I understand I have a pretty strange wish list for GTA 6, but thank you for taking time out of your day to watch this video, and make sure to have a good one.